So I just remembered what poem I was thinking of with regard to memory in the past. It's actually the second half, the second part of your poem, "The Servitude." Would you mind reading that poem?
The second part,
You could read the whole thing, but I was thinking specifically of the second part.
all right, it's in two parts. Part one, and the epigraph to the poem is: the pen is a second tongue. Part one: poems come all at once or in stages. Jealous as love, they leave no room for distraction. A forced poem mimics a forced marriage. Failure is only a matter of time. Interrupted, a poem returns beyond denial, like a love that's chosen, conjugal, and undeniable. Similarities are obvious even when they seem far fetched. Asked if he believed in God and why, one widower said, "I want to see my wife again." Part two: to remember wherever you were, whenever you said whatever was heard by whoever was with you, is just a distraction. Why do you think there's a past to remember? Time past is still present. Time present is passing. Time future will pass. You fret like poets who suffer to say what they alone can say. You wait for that moment to come the way a male cardinal waits for his mate, and she finds him.
Thank you for reading that. So yeah, it was the second part that I was thinking of with regard to our conversation on memory and the past. First of all, the first four lines are the second part of this poem. I believe are my favorite on a musical level of the entire collection.
Oh, good.
Could you just read those four lines again so people can hear them again?
To remember wherever you were, whenever you said whatever was heard by whoever was with you, is just a distraction.
Yeah, it's got this like triplet rhythm
It's,
that
yes, it does.
that you don't always hear in poems, and I always really enjoy it when I do come across it. It's almost like bebop or something. Um, the other thing I wanted to mention about this poem is your little anecdote at the end of the first part. Asked if he believed in God and why. One widower said, "I want to see my life again." This is something that comes up a lot in your poems, like little quips or quotes or anecdotes or references to something someone said. A couple of the poems are even just kind of collections of those. Uh,
That's right.
what is it that draws you about those little pithy things that you put in your poems?
Well, that particular quote was from a man who was asked once, "Do you believe in God?" And he said, they asked him why. He said, "Oh, well, I want to see my wife again." Now, if you think about that, there are many people who think, for example, in the marriage service, they said, "Till death do us part." A lawyer wrote that. A lawyer, period. It's not true because true mates, death does not part.
Hmm.
I mean, love does not. It's so obvious. I mean, if love is as long as life, then love dies with death. But we have experience after experience where that's not true, where people for years or for the rest of their lives love someone who's gone.
Hmm.
Now, to me, that's almost an ultimate proof of God. I mean, why would, how shall I put this, a masochistic God put that impulse in people if it was unfulfillable?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense to me. And that's a kind of reasoning that is really not welcome in our time.
No, not at all. But Christianity is based on that very concept.
Right.